We're starting news out of the World Economic Forum. Investec Bank CEO Richard Wainwright says the World Economic Forum is the most crucial event in any calendar year for Africa's growth. He spoke to Newzroom Afrika business editor Xolani Mbanjwa at the 54th World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
The World Economic Forum is in its 54th year, and it's become bigger as many more heads of state and captains of industry descend on this alpine town of Davos, Klosters in Switzerland. And I'm joined now by one of South Africa's captains of industry who has been here a couple of times, and that is Investec Bank CEO Richard Wainwright. Richard, thank you very much for your time. There are divergent views and there are different views out there in the world about the importance of the World Economic Forum. Some people even say we might not even need a meeting of the global elite. Being a leader who has come here for many years, how important is the World Economic Forum in putting right the challenges that the world faces today?
Well, from what I've seen, and I've been here 4 or 5 times now, is that this is a place where global leaders get together to deal with the risks of today in a very open, transparent, collaborative way, notwithstanding their differences. This is a place that facilitates conversations. So that can only be good for the globe. I mean, in times like this, where our theme here being rebuilding of trust, you know, we certainly have this lack of trust. So that's what I've been taking away. There is a lack of trust. The reasons for that is geopolitical risks, the rebalancing of global supply chains. There's a lot of change going on around the world. We've got elections happening. We've got polarization that potentially can, you know, worsen around the world. So it's very important that the world has a place where global leaders can get together to talk about these challenges. So what I've seen, you know, for 2 years now, the Premier of the Republic of China has been here. I listened this morning to Secretary of State Blinken talk about the geopolitical risks around the world and how these leaders want to collaborate around the world. And obviously, you know, global companies as well who have interests across the world are equally interested to start to reduce this uncertainty, because we still haven't reached economic growth that we had pre the pandemic. We're still battling to get there. A lot of these forces that are resulting in this lack of trust. So this is a place where people can get together and talk. That's, you know, generally that's a good thing when you have differences.
That is a good thing indeed. And many leaders from civil society, the arts world, the business, the government are here. South Africa is also represented.
Yeah.
How do you think South Africa's message is being received by investors in particular? Because the main issue is that South Africa is here to get investments and attract investments into South Africa.
Look, we have a story to tell, but at the same time we have our challenges. You know, we have structural reform that has to accelerate. You know, global investors have alternatives. We are actually pretty well known by most global investors, whether they be corporations or pension funds or money managers. They know the South African story. They know what our challenges are. The question is, are we going to do things about it? So this is a place where, you know, the South African team, whether they're the political leaders of the day or business leaders, we have to sell that message. So I do think we have a lot of challenges that we have to deal with, and a lot of uncertainties. We've got the election coming up. We've got structural reform, as I said, that we need to deal with. But we also have a lot of strengths as an economy. You know, the governor of the central bank, the Xolani, is here. He's very highly regarded and he's extremely independent and very smart man. And he represents, you know, our monetary policy in the central bank exceptionally well. So he's a recognized leader. And then the other thing for us as a country is how we're participating in what's happening on the rest of the continent. So there has been a lot of conversations. I was in a big session this morning with a number of African leaders talking about the Trans-African Trade Agreements and the action plan that's just been released it being a collaboration between various governments, 44 governments, and certain private sectors around sectors that we think we need to collaborate better as a continent and drive economic growth. And there's some global companies that are playing their role in that, and there'll be South African companies that play their role in that.